Hey guys, it's me once again, Dr. Pam. I'm back and just want to bring you some messages of peace channeled to me through different guides that I've been working with now for a lot of years. Okay, and for those of you who don't know me, I am a holistic doctor. I specialize in plant medicine, and I'm also a psychic. And what that means is I can look into the future and I can kind of see events, right? And so, we have been seeing a lot of the events that are occurring right now. We've been watching unfold for quite some time. And, my job, a lot of you who know me well, I also go by the name Dr. Joy because I really am about joy, peace, and happiness, right? But there are some things that are, of course, occurring that are maybe seemingly something other than joy, peace, and happiness, right? And I see that and I can acknowledge that, okay? So I pulled some cards for us to start with, and that's where I want to begin. And then we're going to talk a little bit. And unfortunately, I just spent the last 45 minutes recording a call with Mark. And Mark was with us the other day, and he is a very well-known astrologer, and he has run Sedona mystical tours for the last 30 years. And he brings in a lot of great energy, a lot of things astrologically. We talked about different dates, and the period that we're in right now will last until the 23rd, and that means until Monday, right? Things would kind of be the way that they are, and we've seen a shift, and that just certainly means that there's been like a change. Okay, that's what I keep hearing, a change, and that just means that there was a change from the last time we talked till today, and that change was also astrologically aligned, not just having an occurrence here on the calendar, but it was actually, if you look at the planets, okay, the planets were in alignment for that to occur. And so Mark and I spent a good 45 minutes talking about that in detail. And unfortunately, there was a glitch in the sound. Didn't come through. So what I want to share with us at first is the different cards, okay? This is the healing card, and this is like the universal healing of what we're all doing right now. We're in the middle of this healing pocket, okay, of time. The next card is the support card, reminding us all that we are supported, each and every one of us together, and then also by Creator, God, Spirit, Oneness, Source. The next card, Guardian Angel. This is a really good card because the message I got with this was that we were all given an extra guardian angel, okay, during this process. And again, astrologically, this being perfectly timed, divinely, this being perfectly timed, we all knew that this was coming. We all knew that, right? We all felt that as my puppy dog, Mason, walks by. So he felt it too, and he feels it every day. And, our animals are little angels, right? And so this is a good time for us to cuddle up with them and support them because they do feel the energy that's happening, right? And they might not know what it's all about. So it's kind of like, let's both help each other. And then answered prayer. Okay, so this, of course, is a big one, guys, right? Answered prayer. So who prayed for this? Oh, I didn't pray for this virus, right? Well, you didn't pray for the virus, but we prayed for something to change, right? And something to shift. And so that is exactly what did occur. And so instead of the world war, this is what we're looking at right now. We're looking at the alternative to the world war. Okay, so that's a reminder. So a little bit that came in this morning to me to share with you all is something that's really important, okay? So it's not that the virus isn't scary. Of course it's scary, okay? But it isn't any more scarier than any other flu virus is what I'm hearing, okay? And especially if you look at the statistics, there's only 4% fatality in the world right now as a rate, okay? And so, yes, it's serious, but that's a small percentage when you see that percentage, right? Is that contradictory to the numbers that we talked about the other day when I did a reading? And certainly when we talked about the masses that would be departing, it's not. But when you look at the world as a whole, there are 7.6 billion. The other day I said I didn't know. I looked it up. Okay, I did my homework. And so if, 2.2 million people are going to pass in this first phase of the virus, then what is that percentage? Okay. And remembering, a lot of folks are freaking out right now. What if I get the virus? What if I get the virus? And well, what if you do get the virus? Okay. There's only 20% of the folks that get the virus will depart. And remember, those folks were scheduled to depart anyway. There's a big rise, okay? Mark and I were talking about this too, of people between the ages of 20 and 40 that are showing up with the virus in, hospitals and things. And, their rate of passing is less than 1%, right? So that's very encouraging. Again, this is a virus that was divinely brought in, which simply means that it is being governed also by the divine, okay? Sounds confusing? It's really not. Okay, we all needed the shake up. We all needed the opening. And remember, we said this really clearly the other day when we were doing our readings, and it's been coming through more and more. This is an opportunity for the third eye for everybody to open, right? So if you get the virus, that's what it does, right? And there are more and more folks now that are surviving it, right? And they're out of it. It's a 3 to 5 day period, right? And they're on the other side of it. And it's just like having, the really worst flu that you could have. So what does that mean? Does that mean now go out and why are we all causing up a hype, right? Well, the folks that are scheduled to leave, right, are population that's more sensitive, like maybe some younger folks or some adults, right? Maybe some older people. So we have to be respectful, right, of our seniors. And as a whole, as a world, and a society, it's our time to do that, right? So this is our opportunity. And what I'm also hearing now, it's our opportunity too to really go inside, right? And to go inward. And it's a chance. Never before have we ever had any type of an opportunity like this, right? Where everybody was on vacation at the same time, where everything was closed down. And so I know we're not all on vacation. A lot of folks are still at work, right? Is that my sly way of bringing it in that pretty much the whole world is going to shut down in a little bit? Well, it is, guys. And we said that. Mark and I kind of pussyfooted around that last time, right? Because we didn't want to really come out and say all the things that we saw. But if I can remind, and anybody who didn't hear that recording after Mark and I had met, I hadn't seen him in quite some time, right? A couple of years, and had gotten back together and heard that news of what was coming. And the last few years have been very intense, especially for those of us who have been in the healing world and in the healing field. And those of us have been able to see or foresee a little bit of the future. So when I heard the news of this, I didn't really want to accept it. So I had that adverse reaction kind of and came home, threw up. And that's the way I processed it, right? And handled it. And then I also step two and started to do my responsibility, right? And part of that, even today, I woke up and I was cranky and I didn't sleep well and all this energy and all this stuff and having to talk all the time about it, kind of can weigh you down, right? So anyways, that extra time that we have now to go inward, okay, and to do the things maybe that we have never had a chance to do before. Now we're having a chance to do that now. Reading some books. A great book is The Untethered Soul. Shout out to that. Reading some books that can really enhance us a little bit. We can take care of ourselves better. I don't know if anybody can hear my little dog walking around doing his little exercise, right? Eating his food. Okay, so even Mason knows what to do, right? So, right now is that time to just really build ourselves, build our immune systems, right? And take care of ourselves in the best way. And so maybe that's not the best food for him, as you can hear. It's kind of funny, right? So part of this could be, though, purging too and getting rid of some energies. So that's a nice reminder, okay? And those of you who know Mason, he's a work dog, and he's been on many, many journeys with folks and with me and helping people to process some of those energies. So good job. All right. So I want to also say that the antidote to this virus, as I was given this morning, okay, and yes, maybe my background, I'm a holistic doctor, that's all nice, but really, honestly, this has nothing to do with that. My guides are saying the antidote coming is simply their antidote for everybody that they kind of brought in, again, this being a virus that Spirit brought to us as an opportunity to awaken, right? So it's breath, and the breath would look like this. Okay, and then wait a few seconds and then do it again. Ideally, if you could hold it for 15 seconds in between and then build it up a little bit longer. But doing that 7 days, 7 times, 2 times a day, right? I kept hearing the 7 and 7. So the 7 in the morning and then the 7 at night. That's a really good reminder because a lot of us are like, what do I do? What do I do? Because I don't have a schedule now, right? Especially if you're used to getting up and going to work. So now that kind of gives us a little bit of a beginning and an end. So that would be a nice thing to do, okay? So I also wanted to say that this is a 2020 epidemic that all hearts must open now. That's what I heard this morning, right? So this virus started at the end of last year. The first case came the day after Christmas, okay? Not a great holiday gift, but at least it waited till the day after, right? But it, again, was a gift, right, for the turning of our time and for us awakening and opening. I'm hearing a message pretty strong now too, to just give us a reminder. We kind of have to give ourselves a little bit of a time limit. How you might, those of you that are parents or have been parents, you have to give your kids a time limit maybe on electronics or things like that, so it doesn't get out of control. Well, it's kind of the same thing, right? Like, how many times can I listen to the news, right? How many times can I hear this? So maybe give yourself an opportunity to hear maybe whatever your time period is. It's not up to me to impose it on you. So that's that controlling, codependent part of us, right? That wants to help everybody. So we all have that, right? It's a nice opportunity to do some shadow work, I'm hearing too, which means simply looking at all those parts of ourselves, right? The parts of us that maybe, if we have all this time to be sitting inside, like, what in the world am I going to do during this time? Use it to your advantage. And actually, if the period of time is accurate that I keep hearing, is whenever I have energy coming in, my nose itches. And a lot of people will sneeze or things like that, but that's what happens for me. So anyways, I wanted to explain that to people. Maybe you have something that itches on you, or you have a spot on you that makes you aware that spirit's nearby, or that you have a guide nearby. It's kind of a nice thing to start to tune into and to recognize. Okay. So before that, I was saying a little bit about what was happening, right, and why it was happening. And then one thing too that was very important was we were going to be home for a while purposely. So let's live purposely during this time, which simply means the period of time of quarantine that we were given. 11 weeks is 16 weeks. 16 weeks is a pure full semester, right? So when you sign up for a class and you take the 16 weeks, when you're done, you were proficient and you were efficient at something. So this is an opportunity to do that. Shout out to Canopy, which is a app with a K, Kanopy. It was started back in October by a gentleman in San Francisco, I believe, who has now it spread out through all the different universities and libraries throughout the country. All you need is a library card to sign in, and then you have access to like over 250,000 beautiful movies, documentaries, classes, all sorts of stuff. Okay, so that's just something to do, especially if you're at home with kids, because it's hard. It's a big imposition. Imposition meaning like on what life was. But I also want to say one of the things that was in the conversation with Mark was that we were discussing how fast everybody kind of like hopped to, right? It seems like this has been going on for weeks and weeks and longer even, but really not, right? Everybody's kind of taking their place and we're all getting ready. And again, there's some part of us maybe inside that's rejoicing that we have this opportunity. The government has even been there for us, right? Absolutely. We can see that we'll all be receiving some checks maybe, hopefully, in the mail for a little bit of money to kind of help us through this time. And, again, that's another indicator that we are backed completely, okay? It is a scary time, yes, because we don't know it, right? It's an unknown time. But it's also an opportunity. So I'm going to advise once again for all of us to go and to look inward, and to also, what I keep hearing right now is to find a source inside yourself, right, that maybe you couldn't or haven't found before. If you're going to have to be secluded for how long or how many hours or how many times, right, alone, what would you do? So again, most people would rejoice at this, but now as days go on, weeks go on, it could get a bit challenging. I feel that the world is going to reach beyond itself, right? We're going to have help from a lot of other beings. We already do. Those of you who believe in other planets and existences. Okay, I had occasion the other evening to see a visitor from somewhere else, and again, just being okay, we're all good, we're all good. So we're here. They're here to help us, and if you can listen to some of the messages, like the Palladians, and those are just star people that they're not living on this planet, but they're here to help this planet, and that doesn't really go even outside of most people's thought processes anymore. That's pretty common knowledge, right? That's getting out there more and more. And if it doesn't feel right for you, then of course, please don't hear that. Anything doesn't feel right for you, right? I believe that, right? I believe in honoring whoever the listener is. And if, there's so many people listening from different places, we don't know. So that's the truth for me. And then whatever you decided to be for yourself. But we do have helpers. And so, again, I was hearing a message that they are all here for us, just like our guides are, angels are. We all have an extra one now in this time of need. What do I foresee, right? In the forecast, I was asked that question. I am not sure I completely really want to say, but I guess I'll say this, that, look ahead to what other countries maybe have done. Like, I guess you're referring to Italy, right? So having, zip codes called and going to the store, following, your zip code. And I just want to let everybody know that, the pandemic, like, that's happening right now is going to subside when, planets change alignment, and that's what Mark was sharing. So until the 23rd, which is Monday, things will be a little bit chaotic. Travel will really be advised none after that. And for those of you who knew anything with me back a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about a trip that I was supposed to be on right now. And 2 weeks ago, I was told that it wasn't happening. And I said, well, it is happening because it's, my bestie's 50th in Atlanta. So no, it's happening. But no, it's not happening. So, and it didn't happen. I was supposed to fly out a couple days ago. So likewise, moving forward now as the planets move, that's what we're kind of looking at, a halt in travel. That'll go from Monday the 23rd. And then the other 2 dates that were given to me were the 1st of April and then the 4th of April as very important dates astrologically as this progresses and moves and goes through different waves. And again, remembering that we're all governed and guided now, okay, trusting in ourselves. There's a great movie that I'm being reminded of. It's called The Gift, and it was with Meryl Streep and Jeff Bridges back in 2014. It came out in August. It's a really good movie, and it kind of tells of a society that, is really governed and then given assignments as they graduate out of their program so that they can go off into the world and do whatever's best. And of course, they're living in this, little secluded world. I don't want to give the story away, but it's a good movie. Start to watch movies and, whoops, somebody's texting me. Start to watch movies and start to do those things and spending time with family. And then, even using devices to watch movies collectively with friends, right? Maybe through Zoom tomorrow night. The party that I was supposed to be at, we're actually going to have here instead. I got my little unicorn outfit ready to go, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Let's celebrate like our half a century, right? For those of us that are almost there. Let's celebrate, period. Even in this time, right? This is exactly what we need. We need to celebrate in this time. For those of us that can, right? We collectively, our voice together, can upraise humanity. And that's really important. It's a very strong message that I just got. Okay. All right. So again, I'm just here to just bring some peace and always making this a family-friendly message so that everybody can hear it. As far as schools and things being out, we're going to divine learning. Sure, well, it is divine learning, but virtual learning, okay? And so I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like. But if I were to look ahead with my telescope, I would say that, probably the rest of this year, we will be teaching at home, okay? I was just thinking about something at that moment. I work for a company now as a salesperson for Mastery Coding, and what we do is we're providing virtual reality programs so that when kids get out of school, they are job ready, right, for coding jobs, because there are more than 1 million jobs out there. So I was just thinking about how impactful that could be, that even in the home system, right? Can't help but see those things as they come through. So I think all parents now are going to have a taste of what could be, right? Having their kids at home, working from home, and then we'll see what happens. But again, it feels like a really beautiful divine shift and change. I almost feel like both sides of parties are making friends, right? The Democrats and the Republicans even might come together and shake hands on this. Again, so if you can't see that that wasn't a divine plan, then what could you see, right? All right. So for those of you that have fear and anxiety, I understand, okay? And there's some videos out there roaming around like that this is a man-made virus, like, and it's a big conspiracy. And what do I have to say about that? I will agree, okay, that it was man-made. But who is man governed by, right? And so, there's something above all of that. We can make decisions and we have free will, and it is true. But there's also a moment in time when, when we say trust, and the collective falls backwards to be caught, well, then everybody's coming, right? Everybody's coming with us, and that's what happened. We all fell backwards into the big game of trust, okay? And we all are awakening right now. That is the message. It's happening right now. Do you have to do ayahuasca journeys and all these other things to have it happen? It's nice. It can be helpful, right? It can be beneficial, because that's the other question that people are asking me. what do I do? Can I still do this? Should I do more? Should I? There are no shoulds. There are wills. How does it feel inside? Okay, ask the internal pendulum. What I'd like to introduce next time, and I will, is bringing a pendulum in and having those of you who don't know what a pendulum is. I have one right here in my pocket, actually. So it's, you hold it like this. This is what I call my God pendulum. Okay, please tell me your yes is a circle. Please tell me your no is this. So if I have to ask a question about what's happening in the world before I report it, I'll always ask, do I have permission to report this information? Yes, I do. Okay. And no, I do not. Exactly. Yes, I do. No, I don't. So I always know. And what's happening? Am I moving my hand? I'm not. It might look like it. My hand's actually sore from holding the pendulum so long. And I have a Tibetan bell one that I use a lot that's very heavy. But I do ask questions before I report back this information and any information so that I know that it's coming from a very viable source, okay? And those of you who know me and have been knowing me for a long time, no, I haven't been on YouTube. Kind of shied away from that for a while. I did things in a different way, right? I'm more of a behind-the-scenes girl. But my number was called now, as my guides are saying. It was time for these messages to come out. Same thing for you, all of you. We have opportunity now, okay? Now that we're going to be learning from home, working from home, reach outside of yourselves. Do some things maybe that you never even knew that you liked before, okay? Use this time wisely. I'm going to try to give updates on a regular basis whenever I'm asked to, every few days. We'll get some in for the kids too, maybe giving them some good advice. I'll give a heads up and let everybody know when that's happening. And those of you also who don't know, because how would you? I used to be a school counselor and I love to do that. So if there's a problem, anything arises, I like to come from it from a spiritual perspective, not just, of course, a psychological. But I am available if you have any questions or need anything. lifehealer777@gmail.com. All right, guys? So take care of yourselves. Boost your immune systems as much as you can. Always have an essential oil nearby, okay? I like Young Living oils because they've been working for me, and Spirit brought them into my path. And I've only been working for a couple months, and I can feel the difference. Also, the Relive nutritional, epigenetic medicinal foods, absolutely 100%. So I can feel that as well. I just had a shake right before I went on. Our health is so important right now. If you can't sleep at night, I understand the stress, the worry. What do I do? What do I do? Okay. Don't have cocktails though, guys, because a couple people say, well, I'll just have some tequila or have this or that. It's a lot of sugar. It's really making your brain kind of like fuzz out, right? And so we want you to wake up really wide awake and refreshed. So take care of yourself. Look at some different CBD products, melatonin products. Again, ask me. I have lots of answers for you, okay? All right. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon. And hopefully I'll be on air again with Mark Griffin, who had some great information for us. Looking at the charts of astrology and helping us figure out a little bit of what's going on and giving us some advice, of course, looking at financially, should people take money out of the market or not? And what we came up with was it's an individual choice and decision. I am also a business psychic, like a fortune psychic, right? When's the best time to invest? When's the best time to pull out? You don't have to ask me. You can find, somebody that suits whatever your needs are. But for yourself, I guess the best advice is if you're young, hang tight. If you're a little bit older, you might not see it wrap around itself again for a little bit. It might be time to walk from the table with half of your winnings, but, right? So what I do if I have my pendulum, not if, when I have my pendulum, and if somebody asks a questions like that, like should I, yes or no, I'm always asking, right? Not from a place of my own mind or thought, but just, yes, is this right? Or yes, is this not? And you all can have your own pendulum you can use and you can learn just like I did. There's no trick to it. It's just a lot of trust, right? Kind of like life. All right, guys. Thanks.